Yep.
Okay, welcome to the special council meeting, budget meeting, City of Cross Lake, Wednesday, September 18th. It is 9:07 a.m. I'm going to turn it over to you, Lori.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm not sure how you have run your budget workshops in the past, so I'm a little on unknown grounds here. So I'm just going to proceed in how I have normally done it, and please stop along the way. You'll find that you have a packet in front of you. Next year, this packet is going to be a fourth of the size. For this year, I had to follow the same pattern that was done in the past in order to understand, because there's a lot of historical data behind these numbers. And I want to give a big thank you to everybody who has helped me understand that historical data. And I'm sure there's more that you will inform me as we go through this today. One of the first things I would like to ask is if we could set our truth in taxation for December 10th. That's for you. And that would be December 10th at 6 o'clock.
Is that a Monday?
It's a Tuesday,
Okay.
Oh,
because we have to do it at 6. Or we could do it
On
in
the
the same
9th?
day of our
before a council
city
meeting?
council and then start at 6, if that would be
That
preferred.
would probably be better for the public.
Do you think we
too.
can get through it in an hour then?
Yes.
Yes?
I think we typically do.
Okay, then let's set it for the 9th at 6 o'clock. Okay?
I think it's good to have a time, a specific time frame, then,
Yeah.
be more expeditious.
Yes. Okay. Well, we're going to start with your first page. It's called Prior Year's Tax Rates and City Levies. As you can see, the city revenue number, well, let me just stop. I'm going to tell you that for some reason, everything is coming out to be exactly the amount of last year, and that's because I wanted to see where we're at with our levy, with the numbers that we used for last year to this year, and see if we really need to increase. So that'll be a conversation you guys can have. But the general operating under the 101 would be $3,929,969. Okay? So if you go, and then all the numbers carry forward, which we'll get to. The most important are your bond payments are in there, and then we can also levy for sewer operating, which I take the sewer operating expenses and then subtract out the revenues, and that's the deficit, so we can levy for that. And then we have the EDA, which has been $18,100 forever, and it looks like $12,000 of that goes to Bladek, and then so $6,100 remains in the budget for them to operate.
What is that budget balance to date for this year? Do you know?
For what?
For EDA.
The remaining 6,000 after the 12,000.
How much have they used this year?
Well, you have in front of you also month-end expenditures, so we can go to that section and take a peek. And if I can find it here. Okay, I found it. It's on page 15 of your expenditures. We've spent $6,343, and I know that the payment will be coming out to Bladek, so, and then it looks like we've spent it all after that payment is made. Okay? All right. So the estimated market value, everybody always asks, well, where are we at? So you'll see down in the second box where last year we were at that $2,407,089,100. This year the number is 2,475,000. So a difference of 68 million approximately, 68.8, which is a 2.86% change. Okay, and so last year the tax rate was 18.78, and if we leave everything as is, but we'll talk about that, it would be 18.72. But actually last year truly was a little less. It was 17.783. So if we left everything the same, we're going to be at that 18.716 or 18.72, which is actually on a $250,000 house that's homestead, $2 less in their tax bill, and on a $500,000, you're what, $3? So that is if we left everything the same. So we'll come back to that. So let's go on to the next page. And I have to get to it here. Okay. So then this sheet is the budget summary as broke out by funds. Your general fund, your debt service fund, your TIF, your EDA, your sewer, and your restricted sewer sinking fund. So all these numbers are pulling forward from the revenue expenditure and expenditures and your debt service and your bond funds. So I know this sheet is very confusing, and it will make sense as we go through things, but you'll see I have made some adjustments. We remove the depreciation, which is included in the sewer operating, and then I've spent down some fund balances. Okay? So we'll come back to that one. Let's start with revenues. So that is the biggest concern. What money is coming into the city? I have to pull up my screen here. Looks like my next sheet was cut off. Oh, mercy, I think they're all cut off. Oh. Here. So if we go to this sheet, so go a couple more into your packet. So right after the capital outlay, okay? And you'll see a little yellow highlight up in the corner that shows the general fund. So that's this one. Right after your capital outlay.
Right here.
No. Go ahead. And it'll start with Fund 101, General Fund, and you'll see up in the upper right-hand column, 3,929,961 highlighted in yellow.
Keep going.
Okay, let me know when you got that. Okay. Everybody?
Yep.
Okay, so your general property taxes again is at 3,929,961, and that's a number that we'll probably be looking at more closely before we decide what we want to do with setting the preliminary budget. So then if you come down, let's just go down the columns. We have penalties and interest on delinquent taxes estimated at 800. I did not change that. Alcoholic beverages, I increased due to another license going out, so I went from 18,000 to 21,000. Club liquor license, the same at 500. Beer and wine license, the same at 1,000. Other license, I left the same at 400. Feel free to stop me at any time. I put short-term rentals in there, and I used the $750 fee that we're hoping to pass here at 150 properties. That could change.
I think that will change. I
Yep,
think it'll be more.
200. Do you want me to change that right now? No? Okay. So,
Good starting point. Thank you.
okay. I wanted to be a little conservative at first, so thank you for your input. State grants and aids at the 79,000. Then down to homestead credit, I left the same at 400. Police training reimbursement, the same at 6,200. Police state aid, I increased that due to historical data of 5 years. I always do a 5-year look back. So that's 60,000. I removed the fire state aid because they're under para, and that will go directly to para. Fire training reimbursement, I just left that at 12,000.
Why down so far?
Well,
That's
last year
down
they
about 12,000.
budgeted 12,000, even though more was received in. I just left it at 12,000. I'm open to hear Chip's opinion.
This is revenue?
Mm-hmm.
So this is from the MDFTE?
This is, yes, from your state.
Your,
From your state.
Minnesota Board of Fire Training?
Yeah.
The budget meeting yesterday, so it's not really set.
Okay.
you think it's a good estimate?
Yeah, it's source of funding.
Okay. Thank you.
Is that what you put in the expenditures for training too then?
Yeah, I
It
always
offset
match
it?
those.
Okay.
Yep.
Because it generally offsets it, right?
This is revenue.
I know.
Yes, but
I'm
we
saying,
offset it.
I have a budget, city budget, training budget.
Yep, we'll go through that.
does that offset it? That's what I was asking. I realize this is revenue.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Charges for services, I left at 500. Sales and maps, left at 100. No candidate filing fees, because we won't be in an election year. Zoning permits, I left at 60,000. Plat fees, I increased by 5,000. I talked to Pat, I think historical data shows that we can increase that. Variances, I also increased by 5,000 because data shows we could do that. Signs and permits left the same, assessment searches the same, zoning miscellaneous penalties the same at 1,500. Septic permits, I left the same at 15,000. Fire department donations, I left the same at 5,200. I increased the fire protection and calls by 5,000, so from 45,000 to 50,000. So far, year to date, as of August 31st, we received in 59,386, so the data just supports that.
What is that?
What is that?
Fire protection controls.
That is I believe that's part of our contracts.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, that's what it would be.
And we have a contract for, what, 3 years? Or 4?
It's been having to be used in Fairfield Township,
Yep.
so maybe that should be related to something else.
Do you want me to look at that a little?
Contract?
If it should be retitled, then
Yeah.
Do you
we're
want
just-
me to, I can make a note to change that in our accounting system?
So you want to change it to fire service contracts? I'm fine with that.
Okay. Thank you. Police contracts left the same at 68,000. Police receipts at 5,000 left the same. 911 signs the same. Park and rec donations I increased because we're always getting more, so I jumped that up to 1,000. How do you feel about that, TJ? Okay, thank you. Taxable merchandise and rentals, just increased it $200. Remove park concessions. And then all of these concessions, I think we probably will redo just to have one concessions account. Okay, turning the page. Okay, so the park user fees, the same. Shelter, beer, wine fees, I left at 300. Library cards, I increased just by $100 because we're still getting really good activity in the library. Library donations, I left the same. Copies, I increased by $50.
Can I ask a question about the park user fee? Do you think it's gonna go up?
Where's the park?
What did you have in there, Lori? Did you have it going up or stay the same?
No,
Park user fee?
it's the same. No, yeah, it's the same.
I think we looked that up. It was just our miscellaneous user fee, so I think we can keep it the same.
It just seems
When it
like
comes to our
it's an increase,
rentals,
So I just want
yeah, I think we can keep it the same.
Okay, thank you. And then the library events such as the book sales, I left that being the same at 5,000, and miscellaneous. And the PAL Foundation Library, I left the same. And then PAL Foundation Park, 73,000 because we have a committed pledge for pickleball.
70?
Okay. And then silver sneakers, I left the same. And park dedication fees, I increased to 50,000 because we have all those new areas and we're receiving the money, so we need to account for that. And so far, year to date, the end of August, we received 73,500. Tennis, recreation, all the way down, I left all of that the same, except for pickleball. We jumped that up by $5,000 because adding courts. Okay. Cemetery lots are the same, and openings and other. And public work revenue, sale of assets the same. The joint county utility payments, I left the same. Recycling, the same. Court fines, the same. Restitution, miscellaneous revenues, library grants, the same. Interest earnings, I left the same because I don't know what's going to happen around the corner with this year. But we have been receiving very good interest, so I just left it the same. Then we go down to special assessments, and that's highlighted in yellow because I'm not sure where we're going to be. They have 30 days right now to pay specials, and depending on what is actually going to be certified, I left that the same for just something for me to come back to, okay? And then you go down to the bonds for roads. New bond for year 2, adding Harbor, is it Lane? Harbor
Yep.
Lane?
Yep.
And talking to Phil yesterday again to reassure myself I'm using the right number, 1.426 million. Okay? Any questions on revenues?
Are we anticipating any short-term rental fees, fines?
I did not project any fines the first year. I think it's important to see what happens.
Okay.
I just took the $750 fee times 150 properties,
Okay.
okay?
Lori says not. Can we
You
ask?
can refer maybe at the end, but levy time is our time for public input. Thank you. The next page is debt service fund. And those are all your bond payments. And then some interest. Okay. Any questions on that? Those are what they are. Okay. Your 405, that's your TIF account. I increased it a little bit, just $362 to follow the data that I have. And again, your economic development fund is Fund 502, and that will remain the same at $18,100. Then we get over to the sewer operating revenue. As I had pointed out in the first page, that $176,005, that's the difference in operating costs and what we need to levy to balance. And then user fee, there's your service fees and your connection fees. Those are slightly increased. And going down to sewer restricted sinking funds, those are your bond payments. Questions?
How often do we bill for sewer? Do we do that monthly? So there would be,
I
the
can,
year-to-date actual is 288, and we have 434,000. Are we gonna collect about the same, because we haven't increased rates next year? So I'm wondering if we do that monthly, is it like 30,000? I honestly, So-
yeah, that I know, but I'm not sure of the revenue. I just asked for input from
we're
Shar.
probably looking at another 120,000 on that 288 maybe. At 30,000, I'm not sure what it is. I think it, if I recall right, it's 30,000 a month that we generate on user fees, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Maybe that's.
I'm gonna make a note of that and look into it for,
Just to make sure that, we don't have too much in there.
okay.
It must be correct, because in 2024, we had 431. So I'm assuming that it's probably right in the ballpark, but just,
Okay.
it was just a question.
It was a number that I went through with both Shar and Cheryl.
Oh, okay. So she would know what she's billing monthly.
And I think I made a comment on my, down to that.
Yeah, user fees last month were 34,000, so it's 30,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. All right. And basically, the next sheet after that just shows you a breakdown. And this, we went through every one of these already, but it just tells you, okay, how much is coming from taxes, how much is coming from license and permits, what are the intergovernmental funds, what are the charges for services. So again, this is the same data, just broken out in categories, fines and forfeitures, interest, etc. Okay?
Thank you.
So just a repeat sheet, there's a lot of them I'm finding, so next year we won't have them. All right. The sheet after that is expenditures. And before we start with the expenditures, we have yet to sign both ASME and MNP contracts. So based upon the negotiations, I put in the value that we agreed in a group, but nothing's been signed, okay? So,
Have you had any further conversations regarding the whole uniform?
no,
Oh, okay.
no. I'm still waiting to hear back, but I think we left it in a good way. The other thing that I do not have is I visited with Harlan again yesterday on our benefits, and I'm used to having them back by September 15th. And he does not have that data yet. I've asked him to also shop the market because I'm guessing my numbers here, I put in an 11% increase. I hope it's not that high, but I did do that. Also, I wanted to state that I did just double the life insurance premium because we raised it from 20,000 to 40,000, even though I expect them to shop those prices as well, okay? So those are just my known variables right out of the gate, okay? Okay, so we can start with the council. And it may be at this point, I want to ask the council a question. Okay, so with your time, I understand that you guys get paid monthly, and you'll have to help me with some historical data here. And then there's like a special meeting fee. And I'm just throwing this out there, why it was set that way, but there are times when we are in here meeting like the Ask Me Day. I mean, we were here for 6 hours. I'm used to seeing council get paid for a flat 2 hours, and then they get paid additional after that. And I'm not seeing that. Is that something that you guys had? Where's the historical data? Can you please share with me?
What we had is, we got $30 for a special meeting above and beyond our monthly $500 or $550 or whatever it is.
That's you.
Well, yeah, I get $50 more than they do, so whatever it is. And I know myself, I mean, I don't know how many meetings, but that did not include any commission meetings, any special meetings, any union negotiations. It was just a special meeting. I typically get one extra special meeting a month.
1 or 2 on some months, but.
Yeah.
But the amount we were paid is irregardless of the length of time.
Yeah, and
It could
it was just a flat
Yeah.
rate, $30, no consideration.
I don't know, as we continue to make changes with the permission of the council, obviously, as we set up the personnel, that should be a paid meeting. You know, I eventually would like to set up a finance committee. That's, of course, my recommendation. But when someone sits here for $30 for a meeting and they have 7 hours into it or 6 hours into it, I think that's a little light. And I'm just saying. So I don't know if that's something that you guys want to address in the future. What is the comment?
Is that it's in the ordinance, $30 for special meetings? Do we have to change the ordinance?
We would have to change
Yeah.
the ordinance.
So if you were going to start paying commission, the liaisons to Public Works or Public Safety, Park and Rec, if you're going to include all them, that's going to have to be changed in
By
the
ordinance.
In the ordinance, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think the public would actually be shocked to know how little we get reimbursed for our time. So, I mean, it's been fine with me. Sometimes I think, wow, this was, a lot of time invested for $30, but, we're public servants, so I'd never complain about it, but, I think it's a valid suggestion.
I'm fine with leaving the way it is, as it states now.
And we wouldn't be able to do that until after the next election.
Right. But I just wanted to put it out there. We are at budget time. And if the ordinance is going to change, then, we need the time so it is approved. And if there is changes, I would want it to be reflected, right?
But it'd be a year from now, because we can't increase wages, the council wages, until after
The
next
election.
election. So it would be, the next election would be in 2025,
Okay,
26.
so it can't be
Can't
changed
be
right
till
now.
November 2026.
Okay, so for my next year budget, then I could make a note.
Yeah.
Okay. And if
A
that's
couple of
some,
months ago, Lori, my wife figured out for me that I had 14 meetings in 1 month, okay? Because I'm on the planning commission, we had special meetings and so forth. I'm here with the council on the water quality control, public safety commission, so forth. By the time the whole thing got done, she counted out, she said, "Are you going to attend all these?" And there was some I didn't, because it kind of interfered, okay? But, yeah, something needs to be looked at, and I'm done. I'm done at the end of this year, so I don't care. It affects these folks, okay?
Okay.
But
And I do
think
agree
that
something
14
should be
meetings is
addressed.
probably pretty accurate, really.
Huh?
I think 14 meetings is probably pretty accurate.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
How
I
many
mean,
did you get stipend for? On
oh,
yours?
fraction.
I mean,
small
one or two-
fraction.
One or two or something?
I honestly, I don't pay attention, Dave. I really don't.
Yeah.
I
You
figure
only-
if they want to give it to me, they do. If they don't, I
You
don't.
only get paid for special council meetings. Any of the other commissions, you don't get paid for.
Well,
You're
and
just-
you might be right on it. I don't know what the deal is.
I know that's right.
But it's, yeah, because I don't know how many of them I actually got paid for, Dave. I don't. But it was,
It's only special council meetings.
Yeah, it,
yeah. So
That's correct.
it's, when you look at it, there's a lot of hours get put in by these people.
Yeah.
And I say by these people because I'm talking 25.
well, let's keep that on the, in
Yeah.
our
I think it
minds.
should be consideration.
Okay. And we'll
I
get
wouldn't
that-
mind telling my wife that if I do this for the whole year, maybe I could take you out to dinner on that bonus money, you know?
No, thank you, I'll decline.
Give her something to look forward to.
All right, so let's move down then. Let me just take my paper. I have 30,600 in there. And,
In what? Where are we?
Wages and salaries.
we're under council wages, salaries, department head.
Okay, page 1.
Okay. Being year-to-date, we're at 19,920. I'm looking at that and I'm wondering if I shouldn't maybe make a slight increase there as we're talking. We'll come back to that one. And
You
then,
know,
And in,
Under the council one too, you've got communication cellular, 1,300 what's that for?
I think that's internet.
I,
It is? Yeah.
I don't have an iPad.
say I don't use an iPad.
I don't have an iPad.
well, we had $803 spent out of that, so let me see if I can access it and I'll tell you what it was.
I actually have got an issued iPad, but I never use it.
But while you're under council, for 2025, can I ask that council gets issued business cards?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I realize I'm off topic a little bit, but
No, we're in that category, so
Yeah.
I appreciate that. So we could do that under, yeah, I'll add that column.
Travel expenses, you got $1,500?
Well, and I kept that because we'll have some new council and really I encourage them to attend the training with the League of Cities.
The foundation.
and you'll have new council members, which will hopefully take advantage of that.
What's the random 150 for insurance?
The 150.
Yeah.
I'm just pulling into this here right now. Let me take a look at all of this. I can't remember all these accounts off the top of my head. Sorry.
You're good.
So let me first look at the communications. Okay, so we had some payments for AT&T cell phone and iPad. Is that maybe a contract that we still have? I'll have to look because it's every month.
Well, I could certainly turn my iPad in and you could cancel that because I never use it.
That's
Well-
what I was gonna say.
If that's the
Right,
case,
agree.
I will take a look at that. So communications and cellular, I can write that down.
I think that came about with COVID and Zoom meetings and whatever, we kind of got those, but.
Okay, and then insurance is the next one you had a question on. Let me go to that.
I don't think there were any.
There are no expenditures there, so I can't look that up. I'm not sure why there was 150 in there,
Because we didn't expend anything in 2022.
or 23.
Or
We can just
23.
remove that, I think.
I think so too.
So I will go ahead and remove that, $150. And miscellaneous,
Same thing then, what's the work comp insurance? Like if someone slips and falls up here or what? Workers' comp insurance under council,
yep,
An actual is
$77.
$91.
Yeah.
that's,
Can that go too?
Well, they're,
no,
No, what-
we
What-
can't remove the work comp insurance.
But I mean, is that just for us if like we fall and slip or something up here, or what's that for?
Yeah.
Okay, just curious.
you fall off your chair.
But $91 is actually said.
Yep.
Yep, that was the premium,
Gotcha.
okay? So I will strike out of the council the $150 under insurance and review the communication and cellular based upon Dave maybe turning in that iPad.
If that is the iPads, I use my iPad, that's my communication
Okay.
method to the city. So
Okay.
if you remove it, you're cutting me off from all emails from the city,
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
okay?
It's a
Just-
small
just so you're
expense.
aware.
Gotcha.
And due to the fact that we're not sure where we're going to be the first of the year, maybe we should just leave that in there.
That's
And
fine.
just remove the 150, are we okay with that? Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Moving on to administration. So we have the wages. And, I don't know, like I said, I just put in what MinP, but that hasn't been voted on, so those may change. Hopefully, we'll know after our October meeting. So those are starting points, and the rest are all benefits until we go down to the office supplies, okay? So I put that at 3,200, a little increase. Instruction and training fees at 2,000. Operating at 1,000. Repairs, maintenance, supplies, supply equipment, I put at 3,834.
Why less, Lori?
I just took a 5-year average on all of these, and that's what I came up with my 5-year averages. And communications, we have at 3,000. Let me just go into this. I have to double check something. Okay, yeah, something just looked off, but now I know why. I had merged a couple fields. Okay. Okay. Postage, $750. Travel expenses, $1,000. Which was the same as last year. I left everything the same until, let's get down to capital outlay, which we'll go over in a little bit. And the copier payment actually went down, and with the interest going down. So that's where we come up with our figure of 433,878.
So Gloria, that just gives a question to me a little bit, is because a lot of these are carrying over the same as last year. Mm-hmm. And the cost of living is increasing arguably 3 to 5% or whatever it might be. But should that reflect just
You know what, you
Stay the
guys,
same?
I have a mistake on here. My column didn't print for you guys, that's why I was looking off. I need to go in and print. These say 2024. I don't have the 2025 on there. It cut it off. 5:30 last night, I think I was trying to get out of here. Okay, can you hold tight? Let's take a 5-minute recess while I print these off.
I already showed Dave. Sandy sat.
But it's even your guys'